Hello, good afternoon. Apologies for being a bit Sean Dyche on you all. Coffee malfunction, different stuff getting set up.
Yeah, sorry.
Just changing.
I've been to a funeral.
And Pet's been to a funeral as well. So a few things. But we are here now, and obviously it is Friday, 27th of September, the day before the last ever home game at Goodison Park in September.
Against Crystal Palace.
Against Crystal Palace in the league.
Yeah.
It is Crystal Palace tomorrow, Pet. It is a big game. Good opportunity, though, I think, for Everton to get the first win. Obviously, Palace are a good side and they're dangerous, but they haven't won either. And, you know, we've had the good news this week in terms of the takeover stuff, progressing, and obviously a group I think a lot of people are very comfortable with, given their wealth and their business and corporate background. So that should be in everyone's mindset should be in a slightly calmer place, without the worry of, you know, the A word and all of that stuff. But we've still got to start winning games of football, haven't we? And tomorrow, to me, seems like the perfect place to start.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it does change, like, the attitude within the ground, because it's tough, isn't it? We all know how tough it is. And hopefully it does. And I think we've said this quite a lot. If you change, like, the attitude of people going to match, or change the attitude of people when they're not going to match, of, like, actually things aren't as bad as what they seem. And I do think this is like, they're getting this takeover stuff's a major step forward. Obviously it's the major step forward because it controls everything, doesn't it? It controls every little thing. If we can get a win tomorrow, I think everyone will just feel a little bit calmer as we move forward, and the atmosphere will change, hopefully, and we can and wins on the board in the still infancy of the Premier League table will be massive.
Absolutely. Ned, is that audio okay? Yeah. A couple of people just saying the audio wasn't quite right. Listen, hang on. Don't accuse us of being Dyche, because this is once. Yeah. This is once due, and we just give you the explanation. Yeah. We needed the nuts and bolts. The smell wasn't quite right. You know, now we're on the desk. We're on the desk. You know, we're doing all the, you know, we've got to understand, Pet, the feel of the studio. We've got to get the feel right. So we apologise. I've done it. I'm not going to apologise again. So there you go. Although Liam Septon, who is a YouTube member, says special guest today, Dice reveal incoming, as Big Sean walks in.
Imagine.
But there you go. There you go. No, I think you're right. It is a case of, a lot of times with stuff like this, we're talking about, like, trying to make the atmosphere better. I think in general, Oped, Evertonians have gone in, certainly the two games. I think they went in, the feel, if you call them up, the feel of the game, the feel of it was fine, I think. I think last season there was a definite worry, certainly after Christmas and onwards, when we couldn't win a football match. It was a real worry, of course it was. I think this year it's been slightly different, but the team have got to give you something, haven't they? And the manager's got to give you something to get behind, and still feel there is a disconnect there, but hopefully this week might have calmed a few people, and we can sort of just go, look, okay, let's do it. Let's get it right. There's a buzzing on the audio, apparently, Ned. Just a slight buzz, so if we can just if you can just help, that would be good. But like I say, Pet, these are a dangerous team. We saw them go to Stamford Bridge and get a point the other week. Great goal from Eze. So it's by no means going to be a formality, but Everton's record against Palace is really good over the years. So.
Yeah, it is. And obviously, you go back a couple of seasons ago, don't you? And you know, we've put 3 past them at Goodison twice in the last 3 years, haven't we? So I just think if everyone can go into the ground tomorrow with a little bit of ironically, a bit of a buzz, and feel, you know, slightly more buoyed about the situation, I think that makes a massive difference. I don't think, like, again, it's not about
the team affect this, though.
Yeah,
if the team comes out to 1:45 or 1:30, if you're on Twitter, and there's certain players not in the starting lineup who people want in that starting lineup. Will that affect it? Or let me put it a different way. If the team's announced the 1:45 and Jarrad Branthwaite's playing, that will really give every Evertonians a boost, won't it? I think so anyway.
Yeah. No, of course. And I think it's almost like tomorrow everything should fall into place.
Yeah.
In terms of Jarrad Branthwaite should be involved, Michalenko should be back. We should have pretty much most of our players available, bar a couple, obviously. So hopefully it all falls into place for this one game.
Yeah,
and that will make everyone feel a little bit better. And I don't think atmospheres have been bad. I think what happens is everyone goes, for the first two games, everyone's gone in the match up for it and buzzing. And then the game starts and everyone feels anxiety, like a natural anxiety, because that's what it's been like at Goodison for a long time. And then obviously the Brighton game went a different way, but the atmosphere against Bournemouth was great. It was buoyant. It was right. It wasn't like non-stop singing or anything like that. But that's not what we are anyway. I think people think it should be like that, but it's never been like that in my lifetime.
I think it's like that anyway.
So it's a case of just being in there, and then it turned obviously ugly for the last few minutes, and of course it did. I mean, from what happened. So hopefully tomorrow our season turns, and if we can get the 3 points, things will be looking a lot better. And I think we can beat Crystal Palace. I don't think they're a great side. I think when the manager came in last season, he got a good bounce towards the end of the season. I think he was very lucky to play some teams who were on the beach, and it all just worked out. But this season they haven't started well. They haven't had that momentum either, and maybe losing Elise obviously has been a big hit because he's such a good player, and the pressure is very much on them tomorrow as it is on us. So it's up to us to exploit that in what could be sort of a nervy game. Absolutely.
But just have to see, won't we? We've got to go out and put them on the back foot, get a goal and calm it all down. That's what it's about, isn't it? Being able to build. Kane's in the comments. I love Kane, but I disagree with a couple of his comments here. Tough game, I agree with that. Tomorrow, a lot of Palace players are getting our side. Don't agree with that. Another season of a relegation battle because the squad's one of the poorest in the Premier League. Don't agree with that either. Us, Leicester and South. Ipswich squad is miles worse than Everton, Kane. Like miles worse. Like different levels worse. Brentford. Everton will be where I thought they'd be, which is 11th to 14th. But they've got to prove it. I'll be proven right, I think, Kane. If you're proven right, then fair play. I will shake you by the hand, my mate, if I can get to Skem. I don't agree with a lot of Palace players getting Everton's team. Goalie doesn't get in. The right back definitely doesn't get in, even though we haven't got a right back. Gay gets in, but he'd be alongside Branthwaite. The left back, Mitchell. No, I'm not a fan of Tyrrell Mitchell. Lacroix get in if you're playing three. Midfield, Wharton, maybe. Eze gets in, of course he does. Mateta probably gets in though. I don't know. I think Dom's a better footballer, but I think Mateta will probably get more goals overall than Dom.
I think Dom would score.
And that's it.
I think Dom would score a bucket load if he had Eze.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. He's only had one assist, Eze.
No, I know, but I'm saying I think Dom would get a bucket load if he had Eze.
Well, he's got two already, so we'll see. If he keep creating chances for him, he'll score goals, won't he? We'll see. We'll see, Kane. No opinion is wrong. I mean, yours might be absolutely 100%.
I don't know. There are some opinions that are wrong.
People have their opinions, don't they? Gary Ward says, howdy. Ben says, are we confident going into this one, lads? If I'm honest, despite our impressive record against them, I'm not too sure. Listen, every Premier League team can beat Everton because we've proven it so many times that it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're better than us or much, much worse than us. Everton's record against promoted teams is absolutely atrocious, really. And you know, when you look at it, I think Burnley we beat home and away, but we didn't beat Sheffield United home and away, and they were absolutely terrible last season. Who else went down?
Luton
we didn't beat them at all, even including an FA Cup game. So Everton's record against promoted teams is awful. Palace aren't a promoted team, so that's good.
Does help.
But we'll just see, mate. Am I confident? No, because I don't think the Everton have given me anything to be confident about. Last week we played against a very poor side and we couldn't put them to bed. But it doesn't mean I'm actually nervous about the game either. I just think if Everton turn up and do what they can do, they can win the game. It'd be nice for Everton to go behind tomorrow, come back and win the game and get a few things out the way in one.
I'd rather not, thanks.
No, it'd be better to win 4-0, of course, but Everton have never come back under Sean Dyche and won a game. And Everton haven't won a game at Goodison Park when the opposition have scored since Crystal Palace when Lampard was the manager. So that's getting on, nearly coming up to, 2.5 years ago.
Never won at Goodison Park either when the opposition have scored more goals than us.
That is a fact. Mike Cosgrove, School of Thought, and Michael Owen, of course. Steve Thomas says, anyone else think after Dyche is fired, he'll take over at Southampton and win the last game at Goodison? Who knows? Who knows? Blue Keeley, hey guys, what are your thoughts on when Dyche says there's stuff going on with the club that no one knows about? Always comes across to me like he implies he's dealing with a lot more issues than we know about. Someone said to me last night, who isn't connected with the club, that was a man who knows he's going to be sacked soon and he's throwing the digs out very quickly because it's just crazy. His words, absolutely crazy to make those comments when you're a manager if you want to stay at the football club.
I've heard him say that before, and I'll be honest, I think it's absolutely pathetic.
It's nonsense.
I think it's pathetic. It's basically saying, well, it's not basically saying, it's taking criticism with, you don't know what I have to deal with, but then not telling anybody what you have to deal with. Personally, I find that completely wrong because you're just asking people to ask more questions. So if we're an Everton fan, then suddenly we're like, well, what's going on behind the scenes? That's deflecting. That's deflecting responsibility onto other people at the football club. Now, and you know, all this, I can write a book. I find all that kind of stuff a little bit pathetic. And that's what another factor of, are we all in this together? Because I often listen to him and think, you're doing what we've heard so many times, which is you are separating yourself from us, like Allardyce did. You know, when I win, it's because of me. When we lose, it's because of them. But you don't know. You don't know what I have to put up with from them. You're part of it. You've been part of it for over 18 months. You know, stop.
Coming off for 2 years, mate. 20 months.
Stop crying it in and just say, we're all in this together. And it's whatever problems we've got, we deal with. Come on, that. If I'm a journalist, I want to know. If I hear him say that, if I'm a journalist, I'm asking the next question. I'm going, what's going on then at this football club? What aren't you telling us then? I want to hear what he says about that next. I want to hear what his reply is to that.
He won't tell you, because it's the same as, be great to just talk about football. And then when someone asks him about why we don't win games, talks about everything else other than football. It's deflecting tactics. The only thing he has to do is pick a team that wins games of football. I have to deal with. What do you have to deal with, mate? Because as far as I know, you're not Wayne Rooney at Derby. He was paying staff because the club couldn't, so he paid it out his own pocket. Dyche doesn't do that, not a chance. So what else are you having to deal with? Just don't make the comment. Just get on with your job. You're paid handsomely for winning football matches that you don't do. So start winning games. Just leave all that nonsense to one side. Doesn't need it. People appreciate you that you've had a difficult time because of what's gone on. You don't need to say, I'm not going to talk about that, but let me tell you about that. Doesn't make any sense, that. But we'll see, won't we? We'll see. But a lot of people who aren't connected with the club are now saying things like he knows he's been sacked, he knows he's on his way, he's trying to distance himself. Some people think he's pushing as many buttons as he can to get sacked so he can get a payoff or whatever. So he doesn't have to work for the rest of the season. He can just take the money. So, because he will, if Everton do decide to part ways with the manager, he will be paid for the remainder of the season. So he should. That's the contract he's got. But those comments, you do sometimes think, some of the comments he's made the last few weeks, is he trying to get the club to sack him? Just feels a little bit mad. But listen, just put that to one side, Sean. Just get on with winning games, because that's all we all want. And he'll want that as well, of course.
Do you know what? Listen, there obviously is loads of stuff going on behind the scenes. There obviously are things that they're not telling us. You know, whether it be financial or if we lose a player, do we get the money to reinvest it? You know, we obviously don't know, and Everton have done a really good job of making sure we don't know maybe the ins and outs and everything, because maybe if we did know the ins and outs, number one, it might scare the hell out of us as fans, and it might scare the hell out of potential buyers just from the outside. I know they come in and do the due diligence anyway, but obviously the football club wants to be portrayed in a certain way, and I get that, and that's why it doesn't necessarily like things that people talk when they talk about the football club. They want everyone to make it look like on the outside, because it's not good. It's not good for sponsors. It's not good for investors. It's not good for the look of the club. If people aren't talking about the football club in terms of, you know, it being an absolute mess at times, because that's just a pile-on, isn't it? We know that. We've been here for 2-3 years now in this just mass pile-on. And we know all the Mathew stories, and we know all the other stories. There was one yesterday, wasn't there? There was a story yesterday online, and it was in some obviously nonsense online thing, and the headline was contradicted by the first paragraph. It said the headline was massive stumbling block in way of freaking deal, and then in the first paragraph basically said there was no stumbling blocks. Like, we have been fodder for everyone, you know. Clickbait, Paddy Power, all the rest of it with the joke and all that. So if you don't want more of that, you don't need any more on top, I imagine. And even though we'd love to know everything that's going on at the football club, and listen, there's no reason why you can't give us a bit of information off the record, maybe. You know, it can be done. But I don't think either, though, just throwing that out there with the fishing rod and going, yous haven't got a clue. How does that help? How does that help? If only you knew. We're all here, Sean.
Well, two people, Robbo and Jed, have both said he basically stopped short of saying, "You okay, hon?" Or, inbox me. You know what I mean? For more info. And just get on with it. Danny's gone full. The crying cop-out saying it's not my fault. But I'm also, behind it.
Now, when it comes to, and this is for anyone who works, whether it be at Everton or any football club, as a manager, that's your job. You knew when you walked in what the job was. You knew. Now, some people have been lied to at Everton Football Club. Don't get me wrong. Some people have been told what the job was going to be and how much money there was going to be, and the rug was pulled from under their feet before they got out of the first week. I'm pretty sure Sean Dyche knew exactly what the job was when he walked in. He knew, and he's always said that. He's always said, I knew what it was. Then just get on with your job.
But he said he hasn't, once he's been in place. Now it's changed over time. He's rewriting history.
But just get on with your job then. Get on. That's the job.
See, I'd have sympathy for him if he was at, I don't know, Man City or something, right, where he always was given money and players and all that. Sean Dyche's experiences being at Burnley with no money and having to scrap and fight. So you can't tell me he's come to Everton and all of a sudden the job's 10 times harder than Burnley, other than expectation. Still ends up where he ended up with Burnley, which is just above the relegation zone. So I'm sorry. I've given, at times, he's been dignified with what he's had to put up with, and he's got on with it, and he's had a hard job. I wouldn't disagree with that. But the actual other bit, the nuts and bolts of his job, is to win games of football. And no matter what excuse he uses, he's won 5 since the middle of December. So, and 3 of them were in 6 days. And that, I'm sorry, by anyone's standards, that is an appalling record. Mike Walker won more than that. And you know how Mike Walker is. So, an appalling record. Stop hiding behind excuses. Just go and do your job. Go and win games of footy. And then everyone will go, well done, Sean. And pat you on the back. Stop going, oh, well, you don't know what I have to deal with. You know, Danny put, I think it was Danny. It's like Vietnam. You weren't there, man. You never seen what I saw. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Yeah. You know.
I just find it a little bit strange. The job is the job, isn't it? It's like...
God, he gets paid £5 million a year. That's it. So all he has to do is go and pick a team to win. That's it.
Imagine, no, right? Let me just throw this in there. Imagine earning £5 million a year and never going to Orlando.
He couldn't go with
what's going on. What do you mean?
Yeah, but you're brave. You know that he's negative. He's
I'm
terrified.
brave for going to Orlando.
He's terrified. I know. Imagine it. Imagine. Yeah.
£5 million. I'm not going on a big holiday. What's going on?
Posh Matty, who's a YouTube member, says it. Dice has never actually acted like he's part of the club, like he's on loan or something. I'm certain he's only there because we offered him a fortune. He doesn't want to be here. Say, like, a few people have messaged me saying, basically, you know, he's a cop-out and this, that and the other. And a lot of people point to the High Performance podcast he did not long before he got the Everton job, when he talked about Kenny. I love Kenny and I'm my idol and the cop and all of that, right? Whether you were asked or not asked about whether he's a red, those kind of things just make it easier for people.
Yeah.
Like, but imagine if he is a proper like red, right? And he just got no time for Everton. Like me, if I managed Liverpool, I'd just be thinking, these aren't my people. You know what I mean? Yeah. You want to win games, and he's doing. I'm not saying he's going, I don't want Everton to win because I'm a red, because that's nonsense. Of course it is. I'm just saying it's that mad thing in it where people will look and just go, you aren't even calling it us, as in we're all in it together.
I know that's such a trivia thing, but I absolutely hate that. I absolutely hate it. I hate this. It should never. Once you're in a football club, it should never be us and them, and that's not even, by the way, like a. That's not even like a. That's not like a badge kissing thing, by the way. No. That's like, I work with these people every day. I am one of those people. This is who I am. Do you know what I mean? It's like when I stop working here, then that'll be part of me. But I'll go back to my other thing. Yeah, you know, I didn't even like, you know, like when Sammy Lee worked for Everton, I had the feeling he was part of it, because you get the feeling that's like you're all in. I'm at that club and I'm all in on it, and I'll take maybe good memories from it, but I don't feel like I just feel like he still is just like, oh yeah, them. No, it should be always us, because it is us. It might be us as in fans, by the way. It might just be us as in my team, my coaching staff, people I work with day in and day out. This is us, right? We've done well, you know. We've, as in my coaching, my team, not they've done well or they. I just hate that. Absolutely hate it. And as I said, that's not the old patting the badge and giving it all that to the... Yeah, but look... Because I think that's earned. Sorry, yeah. Go on, I was just going to say, I think that's earned. I think when you see other managers or other clubs, I do think that gets earned over time, and it gets earned through trust. It actually goes back to what we said about Klopp, about challenging the fans and saying to the fans, do you want to be part of this? I need you to be part of it, right? I have no problem with that. And we said that the other week of... If you challenge the fans, what you're saying to the fans is, I want you to be part of this because I want to be part of it. And when you're saying this is what they do, they get off. Oh, even if that's like, oh, that's just what they do, they won't accept this kind of football. Challenge them and say, lads, I will give you something if you stick around. This will get better. I need that support from you, because you know what? We're a little bit fragile. We have to play to the end. People actually... Stuff like that, I imagine if footballers see people in their rows getting off, I imagine that is distracting. I imagine you see that at the corner of the eye. Oh my God, they're all getting off, blah, blah, blah. I think it's all we've ever wanted, I think, is the feeling of the fella who sits in the dugout being in it as much as we're in it. And I think that's a massive part of this football club. And it just hasn't been there for a while. And I think It is an easy stick to beat people with, by the way. It is the thing that will, the last thing of like, should he stay or should he go? He's cop out. He's cop out.
Of course, yeah.
You know, it's what got rid of Benitez.
For me, I've got no doubt he turns up and wants to do the very best for Everton. Yeah. Absolutely. I've got no doubt whatsoever there. Right? I would never, ever question that professional integrity from him, ever, because he will always want Everton to win games of football while he's the manager. Never, ever question that. Gives everything. He probably gives everything he's got to it. But when you leave those little cracks, people can manoeuvre manoeuvre them and make them bigger. And that's what I mean. Ian Murphy's a YouTube member, 5 wins, £5 million, £1 million a win. Not bad work if you can get it. And you've got to get rid of all these things to go, we're doing our very best and all that. Steve P says, I hated that I love Sammy Lee.
Yeah.
And Sammy Lee came in. Big Red, lives not far from me.
Always
seeing him.
See him in Bolton all the time.
Big Red, no issue. Came in, wanted Everton. So, now, okay. People were questioning him, Rooney. Remember Wayne said, Sammy, I want to beat these. And he was like, shut up, Sammy. But then you seen him. You seen him up, cry arse in every Liverpool tackle, moaning at the fourth official. Had the right good go at it. Right? There's no problem. No problem with it. It's just the way it is, isn't it? Danny Ellis says it, Dyche in the Tux. Going on to Round the Tower from last night, of course. Posh Mathew, who's a YouTube member, says, as if he idolised Kenny, more likely he idolised Mark Lawrenson. If he idolised Kenny, surely we'd try and score some goals from open play. Kenny was actually a very, 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 very good football player, wasn't he? Sophie says attention seeking from him. The sooner he's gone, better. Greg says
that's what AI gave me.
Okay.
Dead. That's Sean Dyche in a tux, apparently, according to AI.
There you go.
Just don't know if you can see that.
There you go.
It's not quite as good as a panda.
Yeah. It's nowhere near as good as the dolphin either.
No, or the lemur.
Simon says, I'm beginning to suspect that not everybody is 100% a Sean Dyche fan.
No.
I think people just want to win games of footy. Question for you both: who'll go down as a worst Everton manager, Dyche or Lampard? Well, unless he starts winning some matches, it'd be Dyche. But PJR1525 says Benitez. Yeah,
I think that's not really one I really want to get into.
No,
it's depressing.
Yeah, if you look at who lost more games, then it's Dyche. Certainly Goodison. Where are we? Dan W said, just seen Dyche's comments that he wants to lead us into the new stadium. Yeah. It astounds me that he genuinely thinks these tactics, results and playing style are acceptable. Well, he's at us. He can't say he doesn't, can he? Because that is hastening it. He's got to say, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind leading them in. Of course he has.
See, but that's not I don't have any problem with that, right? At all.
With him saying he wants
I have no problem.
He should be saying
even if he I have no problem, but that's weird compared to the other side of him, which is in the press conference that we all see. He's dead like, he won't answer a question.
And he's having a dig at the club.
Yeah, and he's standoffish when he gets asked a question, like a straight question on certain things. He'll give like the formulaic answer. And yet with journalists, he'll go, no, I like this club. I want to be here, blah, blah, blah. It's like, pick a lane. Pick a lane. We know it's tough. We know. I don't think he has.
He did pick it yesterday when he said, you don't, it'll all come out. That to me is just going, please just come and sack me. Give me money.
But then says he wants to...
Well, why would you say anything like that in a press conference when you're talking to the fans?
But then why would you say in another press conference?
Because someone's probably said, oh, so have you got no ambition to stay here longer? And he's probably gone, yeah, of course, I'll take,
I just find that weird.
5 million a year. Fed says, hi guys, it'd be great to get Tom Woods back on soon. Yeah, following the Athletic article on Freakin' the other day that spelled out Roman's recent demise. Tom is massively back in the fray now, and his content will be very interesting and relevant. Up the freak and soft.
I've spoke to him.
Okay, there you go. Bill says just want 3 points, sick of the excuses. Roy says the record was really good against Bournemouth. Look what happened there. Okay. Royal Blue Rich says, I think this is a comment that we're all asking ourselves, really. I wonder if the Grim Reaper will turn up tomorrow. Remember that when he was there for Moyes? What the
Paddy Power.
Why is he gone? Well, why is he got up? I know, but get up and go the match of the Grim Reaper outfit. Oh, you let him in.
I've seen
Wouldn't you be, mind you, if you're on the turnstile?
I've seen worse clobber at the match.
You would be worried if you're on the turnstile binning the Grim Reaper, wouldn't you? You've got to have some balls to not let the Grim Reaper in.
No, if you saw the Grim Reaper walk in, would you be like, was that really? Did I just see the Grim Reaper? And then would you actually go to somebody else? Have you just seen the Grim Reaper? Because if I was on the turnstile next to someone and they turned around to me and said, "Have you just seen the Grim Reaper?" I'd go, "No."
Just to terrify them. You're a shit. You're horrible. You're horrible.
I'd just go,
that's horrible.
What are you on about? No one's been through that gate in 5 minutes.
That is horrible.
What are you on about?
Don't, because their head would explode. You're bad. Jack says, afternoon, lads, hope you're well. I'll definitely be going in the ground tomorrow with a bit of a buzz. Good news on the Freaking group. Players back from injury. And from a personal point of view, I've just passed the medical for a train depot driver job. Optimistic of a win up the trophies. Congratulations, right. Jack. Is right where am I?
Are you going to be a shunter? That's not a euphemism.
I don't know.
It's a real job.
Okay.
Shunting.
Okay.
It's not something Ned gets up to.
You say that. Matt Gibson says the question is, with this fella in the dugout, will he change from a tracksuit to a tuxedo to channel some honey badger tactics, which will clearly be an improvement?
Yesterday's Round the Tower was just a simply one episode. I love the way that I'm talking and it's the camera's firmly on Baz.
That's okay.
Thanks.
I'll just go keep talking.
Yeah, it's boss, isn't it? Yeah, thanks. I love that yesterday's Round the Tower should be an episode standalone. That would convince all the people to watch, to get
just that segment,
just to get Toffee
just the final segment, definitely.
Just to get animals in tuxedos.
The final segment was incredible yesterday, and even if I do say so
what
myself.
What were the 3 questions?
Mine was, which animal looks best in a tuxedo? Which was an amazing one.
Mine was, what would be the worst thing to wipe your ass with?
It was just horrific.
What was Jack's?
Jack's was, it was an animal one as well, wasn't it? Oh, what was Jack's?
Worst thing for who to wipe? Is it worse for you, like your ass?
Yeah.
So like if you wipe your ass with someone's face, it might be.
Will that be soft?
All right for
that
you,
wouldn't be. Yeah,
no, we're not
no, but it's for you. The worst for you as the wiper.
Yeah.
What was Jack's?
Cheese grater.
That
be used to that though, because the toilet room, my mum buys dead sheep, so it feels like a cheese grater.
Don't give your content away from Round the Tower free here. What was Jack's? Jack's was animal based as well. Oh, Jack's was the monkey mind.
Oh yeah. Would you rather be a monkey and have your mind, or your body and have a monkey in it? So like to be like Baz turning up to the air, but having a monkey brain, so he'd just be like.
Jack's not that far away.
But yeah, so
it was amazing. Tom Dobbo says, I've ordered my hoodie, can't wait to represent the Toffee TV gang. Is right, Tom Dobbo. Top man, Tom. I
said the worst thing to wipe your backside, Ned, would be like a giant spider.
Can we do it?
Kane's on the wind up.
He is, and he's
on the wind up.
He's on
the wind up.
But
what he's done is, like, he's gone out this morning. He's done his annual walk of all the roundabouts in Skem.
Okay.
And he's feeling
got himself on a bit of a charge.
Got himself tired, sitting down.
He's a little bit.
Yeah.
He's being a little bit, cheeky. Cheeky Kane. Matt Gibson says, I keep saying it regards this squad. He's not getting the best out of them, but he's getting the best he can because he's outdated.
That's it.
This squad is better than this. Curly 24 says, you fellas, coming down from Barrow to watch the Everton Palace game tomorrow. Genuine prediction, think we'll get our first win of the season. I think we will win tomorrow. I think it'll be tough, but I fancy us tomorrow. But then again, I was convinced we'd beat Bournemouth, to be honest. And we were, weren't we, till the subs. Hackon says, I wish Dyche gets in his mind that this isn't about him, but the club and the fans. Sounds like my ex-mother-in-law. Way too narcissistic.
Your ex-mother-in-law used to manage a football team.
And she was a narcissist, apparently. So,
was it like a team you don't support in Norway? So therefore, you were like, going to have to break this up. Because I have, like, I don't understand how anyone can have a wife or girlfriend who supports Liverpool. That would kill me. I just don't know how it never lasts.
We had today getting some work done and ours, and fellas come down to play. He was dead nice. The lad was Chris, I think his name was. Dead nice. You know, I've seen you before. Where do I know you from? So I just never said anything. And went out and come back in. He went, I watched it on the telly, blah, blah, blah. Right? So we were having, and I went, I let them do what they do. And then he come back in. He was like, oh yeah, you know, whatever. Start talking. I'm a red. Showed me his tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
Great. One thing though, he said, and I did after. I listen, whatever. It was early. I wasn't going to debate it. But what he said was, the only issue with Evertonians is they're not humble enough. So I went, there's a mirror on the wall there, you know, you want to go and stand.
Yeah.
You're not humble.
Not humble.
Like, we are. We're crap.
Yeah.
We're crap.
Yeah.
And we've been crap for years, and we still turn up in our robes.
Not humble.
And I said, you don't know what it's like. Nobody said.
Yeah.
The thing that they do next door.
Yeah.
Nah, shut up. Under Roy Hodgson, it was... I went, Roy Hodgson, you had them from bleeding August till December, that was it. Yeah. These quotes it. These still quote it, 12 years. And it was like, it's like when, a nice fella, though.
It's like when we stayed up against Palace and I put a tweet out going like, something like, you'll never understand how desperate that was. How like you were looking in the face of death and they were like, oh, look at them, like they're celebrating a win. I was like, not celebrating a win. I'm just saying you'll never understand. Well,
we are celebrating a win because we had to stay up. We were celebrating.
Like you'll never understand how, like, you could. I can understand getting to like get to cup finals and it's disappointing if you lose and stuff like that. I've been there a few times, or you miss out on the league or whatever. But the idea of actually being relegated and actually that your club could implode, It's like this idea humble. Let's be honest.
But what he said, I'm sure your mates are like me mates, and I was like, but I said, to be honest, they probably just your mates. I said, not all Everton. Your mate, maybe don't say not.
Maybe you're the problem.
He's a nice fella.
Maybe you're
he hasn't
the
done
problem.
the work yet, so I'm not slagging him off. Joe says... He
hasn't done the work yet. I mean, what does that say about him?
Come to play it. Joe says...
Imagine going to someone's house saying, I want to do the job for you, and then insulting you.
He doesn't insult me.
Well, he did. You're an Evertonian. He insulted you. He insulted all of us.
I give him it back. Joe says, actually can't wait for Deitch to leave. He's been acting like he's doing us a favour since he joined. He can't even be arsed acknowledging the fans properly after a match. Bill says, Deitch's negative mindset and poor subs have cost us points. Jake Ablett says, I know things can change by the summer and managers sacked, of course, but in an ideal world, Deitch keeps the ship steady this season and then we choose the future. Who will be your top choice for manager? Depends what we want to do, Jake. Really. Depends
where we want to go.
What we want to do. Gary Ward says, with all of the crap we do know about, would I be shocked if there's some behind-the-scenes stuff that no one's at liberty to discuss? Not at all. But that's okay, but that, unless he's got someone behind the scenes with a gun to his head saying, you've got to play these certain players every week, then it no matter what's going on, shouldn't affect him from doing his job, which is picking a team and trying to win games of football. That's it. That's it. Ben says, okay, lads, rank the managers we've had in terms of Deitch, Rafa and Big Sam. Big Sam's the best by far, by absolute, like, universes ahead of the other two. Universes ahead. And I don't even like Sam Allardyce. But he's miles ahead. The other two, I couldn't care less, but Allardyce is better than the pair of them. Just is. History tells you that he is. You know what I mean? I don't like Sam. No. But Everton were 8th. Everton. But again, I didn't like the way he done that. We'd win a game and it'd be about him, and when we lose, it's about the players. I didn't like that either. You're either at fault when you lose, and yet you can get credit when you win, or you're in it all as the one team yourself. So when you win, it's the team. When you lose, it's the team. But you're part of the team. You can't go, we just beat them, and that's because of me. Yeah. And when we get beat, that's because of them. You can't. That's not how football works.
David Murphy on the super chat says 5 million a season to smash 70 diagonals to 5'10" wingers.
Okay, but listen. Right.
Thanks for the super chat.
Thanks very much for the super chat, by the way. It's not his fault Everton are paying him 5 million a season. It's Everton's fault, isn't it? And like I said before, he wants to win games of football. He goes out trying to do the very best he can for Everton Football Club. I've no doubt about that. And I will be backing him tomorrow to get the win. That's what it's about. That is what it's all about. Liam, who's a YouTube member, says the manager gets sacked before the next break and the Freakins get moved in. Watch the first move to properly hit the ground running into the new stadium. CEO, Chief Engagement Officer. And obviously, we'd need a new attacking manager, wouldn't we? Mm. Now, if you want to be, again, the thing is, it's what you want. What are you looking for? If you're looking for stability, if you just want to go, we want to be stable and get in and everything's calmer, like as in calm, you'd get David Moyes because he's gettable. Yeah. But if you're looking at the whole thing, you go, no, actually, what we're trying to do now is put blocks in place and we want to build with this person. You go and get a younger manager and you go, right, this is what we're aiming for. This squad is better than the three that have come up by considerable distance and others. So therefore, Everton shouldn't be and aren't in any sort of relegation battle this season, regardless of what the manager is trying to say or the media are trying to say, because it's early on. We haven't started well. There's reasons for that, poor substitutions and things like that, but this squad is better than what it's shown and will prove it, I think, over the season. So if they do decide to make that change with the manager, then that's the choices for me. They either go and get the safe pair of hands which carries them through for the season and gives them a ground and into the new stadium. That could be David Moyes because he's gettable. But if they have a bigger picture in mind and go, no, actually, why delay what we want to do now? We want to start the process now. Then there's managers you can go and try and get.
It depends. It comes down to ultimately what they feel or how good they feel this squad is. And that'll be the reason why.
Director of football says it's better than
But that's the reason why they'd also sack him. They will sack him because they don't feel like it. Sack any manager, not just Sean Dyche, any manager at any club. They will sack him because they feel like he is not getting the most out of the squad. That's the only reason to sack anybody. If your squad's absolutely last, then managers might stay in place. So if they feel like that, then they might think, well, it's not. This is not about relegation. This is not a relegation. Perversely, it's like when we brought Ancelotti in, and we were all a bit worried. Like, it's around Christmas. We've got very few points. We're bringing in this world-class manager to blow in a relegation fight. But it's like, they looked at it and went, well, if he does what he does, it won't be a relegation fight for much longer. And obviously, we got some wins and then COVID and everything, and it was all a bit weird. But that's the way they looked at it. This fella will move us up. And it might be the same with, if you sack him because you don't think he's going to get as much out of the squad, then you've got the confidence in the squad and in a manager to say, no, we're not worried about relegation. But I just think they are fixated on this season just being about staying up and nothing else matters. But that might change with a change of ownership. That focus of just get through the season might change. Now, it mightn't. The Freakins might come in and go, leave everything as it is till the end of the season. He's out of contract. You're out of contract. You're not making a big decision on him because he's going anyway. And we're not letting you make a big decision because we've got ideas. Of course. Anyway. Of course. So it might just be a case of just leave everything as it is till the end of the season. Get in and bear it. And then there's almost like a revolution when the season ends. A new CEO will come in. We spoke very much yesterday about the CEO at who's just resigned at Roma would be a fantastic candidate. She's got unbelievable credentials.
Got John Blaine's seal of approval as well.
There you go. I mean, she resigned because the ultras turned up at the training ground, demanded her to come out, and she resigned because she's just sacked the second most important Roma player of all time, and the fans are not happy, so she's resigned. That gives us an unbelievable opportunity, by the way. She is got the unbelievable qualifications in law and in sport, and she's done jobs from working in the Olympics to being at the Olympiakos, all kinds of things in Greece, then going to Roma, and then I'd be all over that, even if it was just a temporary thing. So they have someone they know working at our football club.
That's how they might do it. Who knows? Just about winning games for Everton. That's all it is. It's simple. It sounds simple, but that's all it is. Let's go and win games. Blue Azul, and I know Steve P is in this camp as well. And this person's been linked with Everton a few times. Sergio Conceição. He wants him. He's out of work, isn't he? So he's one who Everton could potentially get. So we will see. Corrin says Dyche is negative and doesn't fit at Everton. But well, he's the Everton manager, isn't he? So he does fit right now. So,
but whoever Everton go for next, right? It would just be nice if it wasn't just he's out of work, they're out of work. It'd be nice if there was like some thought put into it, and there was a reason behind it, like a long-term reason.
Dan W says your point about Dyche being like you're not my people further highlights why we should not have any red working at the club. I wouldn't trust them to make a cup of tea, let alone be a coach or part of a scouting team. Okay. Tony Fielding says Bell Latlina, lad.
Honestly,
absolutely,
just
so
tremendous. Honestly,
well, it's the kind of appointment where you go, I get it, I understand exactly why they've appointed it. It's got to fit all of the boxes that you want ticking for a CEO. Understand it, great appointment, isn't it? Rather than going, oh, she done the money at the women's thing in Wavertree, the libraries, which is what our other CEO did.
Yeah, like
mothers meeting. That's what she was.
Yeah, unbelievable.
No, but that's what she was.
That's
I'm not even being disrespectful.
No.
That's on her.
No.
She was part of it.
Put the two people's credentials next to each other, and you'll see an absolute wealth of
football experience
at the highest level. And next to that, you'll see someone who run a nice little charity.
Someone else did, but she took the credit for it. Blue Keeley says, I feel like I brought the mood down a bit. Absolutely, you did. Come on, up the Toffees, 3 points tomorrow. Steve P says, if we finally got new ownership and finally got rid of Dyche and we actually ended up with a Southgate or Sarri, I would be done with football. Everton aren't getting Gareth Southgate. Manchester United might be, but Everton aren't getting him. I can't see it anyway. I think that'd be bizarre, to say the least. Right, last few. Alex says, can the Freakins get Kappa to do our kits? The ones they've done for Versailles look great and no treaty involved there. Kappa Ped, you're a kit man.
Adidas. They do Romas, don't they? No, they don't. Adidas do Romas.
Yeah, but then you just end up with Villa's Adidas deal, which is like 14 pence. Jack,
are you messing? The people who own Villa own Adidas.
Exactly. So it's not even a good deal. Jack, it's not, honestly. Jack A says, correct, Ped, I'll be a shunter. There you go.
See?
Matt Gibson says, I've got a 12-year-old daughter that supports them and has been discussed on here previously how I failed at life as a result.
You have failed at life.
You have.
You failed at life.
You've not understood the task at all. Blue Keeley says it should always be either we played well and did our job or we weren't good enough, end of, as opposed to they. Correct. Ben says, do you think our players go into games thinking if we play poorly, the manager will be sacked? If he lost the dressing room? If he had the choice to keep Dyche to the end of the season, or you get Moyes, but he gets a 3-year deal and won't accept a short-term job, what are you doing?
Say that again.
So first part of the question is, do you think players go into games thinking if we play poor, the manager will get sacked?
No, I don't think footballers think like that.
Think once you're in the game, I think you're in the game.
So, sorry, what are you in?
It's in the game. The game. Ben also says, but if you had the choice to either keep Dyche to the end of the season or give it to Moyes now, but he was here for 3 seasons, which one are you choosing? So you get a chance to do all of your stuff in the summer free, or you've got David Moyes for 3 seasons.
That's an interesting one, that is an interesting one.
Ned,
I'd have to say Moyes, because honestly, the atmosphere in this room.
Well, he's just a better manager. So you go with the better manager. Moyes it's not even up for debate. He's a better manager. So if you're saying we'll have a better manager for 3 years, then you'd have to take that, wouldn't you? Surely.
And party.
And he also would say we, and he gets it. You know what I mean? Ned, what would if that was your choice? keep Dyche till the end of the season, then start everything fresh, clean, or get David Moyes in now, but he stays for 2.5 years, what it is.
I don't know. I was still thinking about the ask question.
Just thinking about
The first one.
Keep Dyche.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as we stay up,
Sad.
start
That was
fresh
it.
and start. But then it gives you the option of looking at different managers and looking at where we're at.
Yeah, okay.
Keep Dyche.
Yeah. Colin, you're talking rubbish, mate.
Who's
So they
talking
go
rubbish?
straight back at you.
Who's talking rubbish?
We're talking rubbish because you've been moaning for years about the board and lack of action planning. Look at your previous post. Dyche is pissed off at the fans. I don't even know what that comment means. He's just pissed off as the fans. Why? In what way? Give us more context. Strange comment.
He's not a fan though. He's the manager. He's the manager, isn't he?
I don't get that. We all know how difficult it's been.
Yeah.
So why do you keep making excuses? I'll say you know what? What would you say if I went, Colin, things are bad, but, I can't tell you the things that are bad. But things are bad, Colin, but I can't tell you the things. You'd be like, stop saying they're bad then, or tell me
Why'd you
what's
go
bad.
to your doctors and he said that to you?
Exactly, yeah. No, I'm sorry, that doesn't make sense in any way, shape or form. Ian Murphy, who's a YouTube member, says, I'd take Moyes for the stability he'd bring, plus give Freakin rather time for succession planning. Corrin would have Moyes back tomorrow, but can also smell a win tomorrow. I think we will win tomorrow, so fair play. Let's just get the win done. Get out, get the win done. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter, realistically, who's in the dugout.
Get the win done sounds like one of our Welsh Premier members.
Maybe. No, but you know what I mean. It's just get a win. Get a win. That is all that matters. And then we can approach the Newcastle game. As Isaac broke his toe and is out.
He's got an issue, hasn't he?
He's out for it. Might be out for a few weeks. So, we could beat Palace tomorrow, and then the confidence levels go up then. And we've got Newcastle at home next week. Get 2 wins on the run. Be absolutely fantastic. Wouldn't it? Put us halfway up the table and we go, fantastic. Right, we can relax a little. Well, it would be, wouldn't it? Soph says, imagine defending a manager with 5 wins. The standards have gone. Blue Azul says, Sergio Conceição likes hard-working players with a high press. Porto fans upset with the setup against low-block teams, but do better against teams that try and play good footy. To me, that suits the Premier League. M says, that was good, Ped. Maybe a shame nobody got the Welsh joke.
Level.
TL has just become a YouTube member. Welcome. Thank you very much. Mark Higgins says, redemption starts tomorrow. Adam Riley says, results matter. Get the lads winning at home and at least drawing away. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Just win games. Just win games of footy. That's all that matters, really. That's all that matters. But the problem is, if you don't win games, then people are going to question it. You can keep going, defending managers all you want. I didn't hear this defence for other managers. Everton have got to win games of football. And that's just the way it is. That is the way it is. Abby, who's a YouTube member, says, Sarri is a lazy link as Freakin owns Rome and he's out of work. TL says, just joined as a top Toffee win tomorrow with a stronger team, positive. Yeah, listen, Everton have got, like I said, to start. We're going to finish now and we'll be on more than a game in a bit. But we started right at the very start saying that.
That's how we started.
How we started. A win tomorrow just calms everything. Yeah. But we've got to do it. We had Leicester last week. Leicester were
1:45. Branthwaite on the team sheet.
Yeah.
Everyone goes in that game.
Lindstrom on one wing and Jai on the other.
People go in that ground buzzing, and it's like, come on, expectations. Saki Dyche is back, and we're all smiling. That's all. That's all anyone wants.
Well, we swore the Saki for the opening 2 home games, and we haven't won. So now...
No, I think it's something to do with Bills rather than anything else.
I think tomorrow we just goes with, pants and a jumper.
Yeah.
No tie, no, bouncer outfit. Just, jumper and a pair of kicks.
Do you know what? Just before we finish, let me just.
Chris Byrne, welcome. Thank you very much.
I'll tell you what I
Chris Byrne,
found.
YouTube member.
I'll tell you what I found really sad yesterday, and it just shows the difference between our sport and American sport.
Oh yeah.
The Oakland A's played their last ever game yesterday at their stadium. Oakland are going to play there. The footy team are going to play there next season for one season. But I found it dead sad because if you've watched Moneyball, that's the team.
What a film, by the way.
But the fella who owns them is like tight, and apparently, like it's one of those where he's been waiting for someone else to pay for the stadium, one of those things.
Yeah.
But the fans are amazing. It's not the greatest part of the way. I thought there's like almost similarities between, but not in teams, in cities. So they're in Oakland, San Francisco's over the bay. The Warriors have built a new stadium. The Raiders have gone to
Vegas. Up with baseball bats.
Yeah. The Raiders have gone to Vegas, and they're leaving. Now they're going to Sacramento first, and they may end up in Vegas, but then there's trouble building that stadium. And it's the unfavourable kind of place. They had success a few years back, and they've never been. And I just seen so many similarities in that club and our club, and I just felt so sorry for them. Yesterday was their last home game ever at this aging.
Did they win?
Yeah, they did win.
Okay,
this aging stadium, and they're moving to like Sacramento. So I just thought that's the difference in American sport and our sport. And we've been dead lucky. We are moving to new ground, and it has been built. But for those Oakland A's fans, I just thought that is the difference in English football or football generally and American sports, is that they can take your team off you. So no matter how bad it gets, it doesn't get that bad.
I can't sense of stuff.
It doesn't get that bad. So if you're an Oakland A fan and an Everton fan, I feel really sorry for you. But at least one of your teams is going to a new stadium, and the other team is going to have to. They're going to Sacramento to play in a minor league baseball stadium, and they reckon that in June and July, the temperatures get to over 110, and there's barely any shading at this stadium. So most of the games are going to have to be night games as well. I just feel so bad.
The
for
A's fans started ripping up all the seats.
Yeah,
to
they
take
did.
home,
Because they hate the owner. They absolutely hate the owner. They just hate him. And yesterday, for the last game, they didn't even open part of the stadium, even though it was a massive sellout and people wanted to go. They couldn't even be bothered opening the top, like their version of the top balcony.
That's mental.
I know.
Why?
Absolutely, because the owner's just a bad prick, apparently. So, felt really sorry for them.
Chris Byrne, yes, you do because you are obviously a Premier member as well. So thank you very much, Chris. Just seen one thing I was going to comment on, and it's disappeared. Don't know where it's gone. I apologise. One more on Premier. Dan W says, just thinking how mad it was that Etu played for us. Is there any semi-realistic player of that reputation you'd have in the current side?
Is there any what?
Semi-realistic reputation of a player like that you'd have in the current side? Who Everton could maybe get
Everton
now?
could get right now? Ooh.
I don't know whether we could.
Lukaku. Once he's done his spell at Napoli. Because it won't end well at Napoli, let's be honest. I mean, he did good assist last night for
McTominay. Big Scott scored his first goal, yeah.
So maybe him coming back could be like that redemption. Don't forget that Dan Freakin did pick him up in Belgium.
Pick him up and fly him.
He did the deal in London, picked him up in Belgium and flew him into Rome. Imagine that, though. Just going, who should we get? Oh, we'll get him. All right, let's go and get him.
I'll pick him up.
Yeah.
I'll get him, lads. Don't worry.
Oh, that's not the first. John Travolta did fly, the Australian team.
He did.
To the World Cup.
Oh, he did.
Because he was a qualified Qantas pilot.
Yeah.
And he flew him in.
He did.
So weird.
It just needs a battery, Kev. I know that.
Yeah, no, it's not a battery. It's it's the arms. Dodgy,
the arms. Dodgy arm.
But that's because we dropped it on the floor. That's nothing to do with the quality of it. Because I've got two at home. I've got two of these at home. One in the living room, one in the kitchen. They are quality. If you want one, go and see Tom upstairs in St Luke's. Toffee Art does some good stuff. And he did say if we took it in, he'd fix it. We just haven't had a chance to take it in.
Correct, Mundo. Right, if you want some more footy chat, 2:15 is the time for you on More Than a Game. We'll be previewing all the weekend's games from the Premier League. Ned, the Superhighway Superlink there. You don't even have to do anything other than get yourselves a drink and do it all. Do it all. Ped does love you, Emma. We both love you, and we're glad you're watching. We'll see you at 2:15. Make sure you are there. Be there or be square. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button while you're here as well as we move towards the 90,000 subs. Come on, guys. You're doing a great job.
Told you before, if you get us to 100,000 this year, by opening loads of fake emails, then me and
you and Ned are getting
matching tattoos, and Baz is getting a temporary tattoo of the same design that we hope will grow on him, and he goes, yeah, I will become a man. Very much like Pinocchio.
Very, very,
very much like Pinocchio. But I will become a real boy and get a tattoo as well. Although Ned is starting to overdo it on the tattoos and is gone full wool.
Ned's got tattoos everywhere.
Full wool. But it's okay because he is a full wool, so that's acceptable. If you're a full wool and you go full wool, then that's fine. You just...
That'd be horrible to wipe.
Is he owning his full wool? Yeah.
Steel wool would be horrible to wipe it with.
No, like sheep wool all over your ass.
Sheep wool? No, that's sheep wool, Baz. That's wool. Different from that cow wool.
What did you say?
For what?
I think I would have said corned beef.
Broken glass.
Corned beef.
Corned beef. Corned beef.
You're wasting a good bit of beef there, aren't you?
Oh my God, corned beef. To be honest, Ned, I wouldn't eat corned beef whether it being on it or not on it. So
Gary Ward says I'm a Raiders fan and that Oakland Stadium's been falling apart.
Oh, I know that, Gary. It's not about the stadium. It's more just the principle of we'll build a new stadium and you're tight so and so, rather than I'm waiting for the council to build us a stadium or whatever. It's more the principle, isn't that someone in America can take your stadium, can take your team off you. It's horrible. Franchise, piss off.
Kevin Murphy, there's zero chance of me getting a tattoo. Tazul's calling me Gary Lineker. Baz will have to do a show in his shorts if you get to 100,000.
What a Gary.
I know. All right. Right. 2:15 is your time on More Than a Game.
I mean, it'll probably be a touch later now since it's 12 minutes past 2.
Well, what have you got to do?
Swap the shirts.
Okay.
You'll probably want to go and have a wee because you're at that stage in life. Get yourself a drink. Probably have a hobnob.
Stop talking. 2:60. I haven't had my breakfast. I wouldn't break my fast.
20 past.
I wouldn't break my fast with a sugar thing, would I? God.
Oh, you're not having a hero?
See you in a minute.